Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday. Good morning. It's almost, I guess, afternoon. Happy lunchtime. I'm Melissa. I'm with Beloved Bust, and you are in this beautiful group of women reclaiming their body after breast cancer. So I have got a little banter today about feeling empowered through your recovery. So we are going to talk a little bit about that today. And I'm going rogue because I got the puppy up here. So sorry if that's a little disruptive. We'll see what she does. Trying to get her to learn how to just relax and settle. And yes, there she is. That's Birdie. So how to tap into a place of empowerment. And so as I work with clients, one of the big things, a word that comes to mind is acceptance. And really what that means, not in a like the way the doctor might tell you to just settle for how you are because you had breast cancer, right? Acceptance for me changes my how I'm looking at the situation. If I'm future tripping and thinking about how or where I should be versus where I am. So when I use the beautiful word of acceptance, it's full of empathy and compassion and really just being able to be with ourselves where we are. And that is a magic point of where you can actually start to not only see all the progress that you have gained from where you were to where you are now, as opposed to thinking about the future of where you're not. Like, I can't do this. I'm still not doing this. I still have this pain, right? And so those are things that we're going to look at. But if we bring our attention back to where you are now, and again, I'll use the word acceptance, and we can come up with even some better words. From this point, then the view that you have there, the vantage point, is you will be able to see how far you've come. You can notice that the scar is still there or it's still tender, but it looks like it's healed, right? It's so much different than what it was even 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago, right? So coming into that place of where you are now, and this is the perfect place to really look at where you want to go. Like, what are some of the priorities or things that are in your attention? And in the very early stages, that can be you just want to get out of pain, right? You want to be able to get out of bed and not hurt all day, or go to work and come home and still have energy to hang out and be with your family, or do a few things for yourself, right? And so we can talk about these goals and these different ways to look at where we are. I'm going to use the words functioning versus fabulous. So the first kind of range of places that you might want to, that might be on your list of goals or wishes, would be in that functioning sort of piece. Like, I would like to be able to go to work, come home, and still have energy to like hang out. I would like to be able to go to the zoo with the kids and walk around all day and not hurt and pay for it so much later. So we can have these functioning goals where you're wanting to do those things. Then we can get to those fabulous goals, like say you want to be okay with your own body. And then you can get to the next goal, which would be like, I want to have amazing sex again. Like, come on, right? But that first piece, acceptance where we are, is maybe a part of where you don't feel comfortable with your body. Some women don't like their implants, right? And they feel so different, or they're flat versus maybe they had large breasts. And so even when you hug someone, there's just something missing. Like, it just feels weird. That was a part of you. And so there's a piece where you can really connect with that part of yourself. And then you can add that fabulous goal, right? The functioning goal would be, I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and feel good about myself. I want to be able to work on my scar so that I can relieve that pain and tightness and feel more at ease with my new body. feel more compassion and empathy for myself. When we do that piece, right, even just the scar release that we talk about is you reconnecting with your body. It's healing the scar and softening the tissue. It's you holding your body. And then that fabulous goal of I want to have great sex. I want to connect with my partner. I want to be less self-conscious in my clothes. Those kind of pieces you can add on. So bringing your attention to where you are with love and empathy and compassion. And then you can look at, right, the next ones that you want. Maybe you really miss riding your bike. Maybe you're a road cycler. Maybe you like camping. Maybe there's some things that you aren't engaging in like you used to. You're still in that healing process. You're still recovering. And so bringing your attention to what progress has happened. So you can notice how far you've come. And so you can journal that. You can keep track of things that are important to you, like sleep. And then you can really notice, like, gosh, I didn't sleep that great last night. So I'm going to notice that and try and catch up a couple hours in the next couple days, right? And then when you get the good sleep, you're going to feel better. How can I create an environment where I'm sleeping better? Can I try a pillow under my arm? Maybe you need a round of PT because you're waking up with pain. That's not cool, right? We want to be able to get you in a place where you can sleep. That would be one of those functioning goals, right? I want to be able to get dressed and feel good about myself. That's functioning, right? The fabulous goal is I'm going to be all sassy and out and about and go on that trip I've been wanting to do with all my girlfriends and have a party, right? Really just engage and have fun and not think about pain or think about having breast cancer, having it, just not even thinking about it. It's not in your attention. When you bring your focus on where you're at in that acceptance space, we can really notice how we heal. And when someone heals, when I'm working with someone, pain doesn't just, it's not so much in our attention. You don't wake up one day and you think like, oh, I'm healing, I'm doing so much better, right? What happens is you go through the whole morning and you didn't think about your body once. That's healing. That's how the body heals. You can go to the grocery store and you stand in line. Hello. And you can stand in line and then you get in your car and you think, I didn't think about breast cancer once that whole time I was at the grocery store. When usually it's just really in the center of your attention. That's healing. That is the body softening, the tissue softening. So it's moving, it's not grabbing and giving you pain, but it's also on this level of where your nervous system is feeling better. It's feeling on that primal level. You feel more safe. And so it's not in your attention as much. So you get more bandwidth. You can actually think about things that you love. Some of that brain fog can soften in that sense of just reconnection. The body is not so distracted by in that fight or flight piece. And so you can then notice how the body heals. If I am thinking about all the things that I can't do, or oh, I wish I could do this, we're missing those little moments, those spaces of healing. When you're consistently working on your scar, you're going to notice how it changes. Like, oh, this, I don't even notice this spot anymore. And it used to be raised and kind of bumpy and such. And it was even tender. And now that part doesn't even catch, right? And so you can notice those when in those consistency. Functioning type goals, like getting out of pain, having that range of motion, feeling good about yourself again. I think that is a functioning type goal. That is not something that we get to let go of. You get to have that, right? So focus on those types of ways. Those are going to bridge the gap to the fabulous type goals of like, I want to have great sex. I want to go on a trip with my besties and not be in pain all the time and not pay for it so much later just by moving and being more active and feeling that sunnier part of yourself that is laughing and engaging in that space. And you're like, gosh, I haven't laughed like that in a really long time. And so you can catch those spaces and think, and that is healing. And that is from those, again, watching those little wins. Like today is fabulous, is Friday, right? Weekly wins. Noticing those little wins, big and small, are creating that space of empathy and compassion and building the bridge so that you can do those bigger goals. Accepting where you are with love and compassion, not settling at all. And then you can work on that. Work on the goal. So we pick the one thing. What do you really miss? So I have a client and she really missed intimacy with her husband, like on that deep connection kind of level. They're still kind of tippy toeing around each other. He doesn't know what to say or whatever, and she feels self-conscious and such. And so she really missed that piece of their connection. And so then when we really talk, it goes down to this part where um, she's gained some weight, so she doesn't fit in some of her favorite clothes. And of course, there's that cycle, right? Because you can't exercise and do the things you used to do. And so, one of the things, as it comes down to, is how do we get you out of pain so that you can get back to walking every day? And so then you just break down that goal and look at where you are at today. And so in that moment, she wanted to be able to move better and do some regular activities to work on feeling good about her body and taking care of it. So she goes to PT, right? You go for another round of PT and try and get more movement and less pain. In the meantime, too, right? You got your favorite pants that don't fit anymore. You're going to buy the same pair of pants in a little size bigger, right? So just get the new, get something that you feel fabulous in right now, where you are today. And then you get to find that sassy self that walks around. You put on those sassy earrings even though you're just hanging out at home, right? You show up in those ways, and that builds the bridge so that she feels more connected, more of herself, and then she can show up in that way with her husband. Working on your scar can soften some of the subtle shame and things that especially women have from being sick or in a space of having to heal. We're often doing all the things. We talked about that last week, right? And so we can connect with ourselves and then really engage and connect with our loved ones and our partner. So building those steps from functional to fabulous. So identifying where you are now, what you most want, what you're really missing or really would feel great if I could ride my bike or if I could, and again, it might be on the lower look, if I could just get through the day and not be in pain all the time, right? Get to address that. Where are you right this second? And so you can look at that. How can I get to walking every day? It might even be a schedule thing. It might be where you're taking time for yourself in ways that maybe you hadn't before. We talked about yesterday was like, how are you saying no to take care of yourself, right? Saying no to things that maybe before you would have said yes. And because you love to do it, sure, but also a little obligation, also a little, I should do this. I want to help out because we have that piece where women show up in those ways, right? Whether it's school or the kids or our partners or taking care of the house or the dogs or whatever it is, right? At work, you're supporting coworkers, showing up for those extra projects. So saying no, right? So you have the functioning type goals. Let's get you out of pain, right? Let's get you sleeping through the night. Let's find those techniques and ways to support yourself so that you really start to feel soft again in your body. And then, right, add that fantastic, that fabulous goal, right? And then what are the steps that would most support you in getting there? We don't have to stop at the pain or settle in those spaces just because you have breast cancer. So one of the ways that I support women is Zoom one-to-one coaching. And we discover and find out what those different goals are. maybe where you are right now, and we have all the different types of techniques and ways to look at supporting you right here. And then again, adding that fabulous goal and what are the steps that can support you to get there. So break it down in a sense of looking at that functioning versus fabulous. And let's get the functioning side, but those steps are going to build you to the thing that you love, that you miss the most. How can we engage on those levels? And we take care of all of the pieces where you are now. We have the scar release, the free opt-in for the 5-day journey for the videos to show some of the techniques. And then the coaching is a huge piece. The one-to-one coaching, helping identify where those pieces are and putting them in a way that's quite individual just for you. And you can do that yourself too, right? Looking from here, looking at functioning versus fabulous. Reach out if you have any questions. It's just such an honor to be here with you all, and I just encourage you to continue to just love on yourself, do your scar release, and I love how you all are showing up in the group for each other. It's just beautiful to witness and be a part of. So, my friends, have a magical weekend. It's Friday, so do something you just love and take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.